Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm AwestruckVox. Oh my gosh, guys, our first She-Ra theory. I can barely contain myself from the excitement. As someone who's not all too familiar with the original series, as I'm sure most viewers of this reimagining aren't, I very much enjoyed this spectacular first season. The first few episodes didn't do much for me. It grabbed my attention gradually the more we focused on the true star of the show. No, not Adora, Catra. Of course, spoiler warning if you haven't seen all of She-Ra and the Princess of Power, you've been warned, but go watch it, it's really good. Now, the relationship between Adora and Catra is clearly the heart of the show, the main focus that drives the plot forward. Everything that happens is either because of the two's back and forth dynamic, or it greatly impacts said dynamic. Yet, while I adore Adora and her character traits, she isn't what makes the conflict between her and Catra interesting, despite being literally half of the two. Catra is. From the very beginning, Catra differs from other members of the Horde, and this departure from her peers is what makes it hard to put the series down. Just one more episode turns into 2 more, 3 more, and before you know it, you finish the entire season. Other members of the Horde don't really seem to know what they're doing. Like Adora, they're under the impression what they're doing is the right thing. Catra's a different story. She knows of the Horde's true nature, but she still chooses to go with the flow, which is a strong part of why the relationship is so compelling. And again, Adora's role isn't nearly as captivating, as most of the time you can just chalk her up to a one-note, I don't want to fight you, please come back. Adora and Catra feels like an amalgamation of so many relationships and rivalries in media that's come before it. Naruto and Sasuke, if there was an alternate universe where Orochimaru and the Akatsuki raised both of them, and Naruto decided to go to the Leaf. Zuko and Azula, Rei and Kylo Ren, Goku and Vegeta, Star and Ludo. The best traits of all of these can be found within Adora and Catra, while also maintaining a unique spin on it. When Adora learns of the Horde's true intentions and place in the world, revealing this information to Catra, the later retorts, duh, did you just figure that out? Manipulation is Shadow Weaver's whole thing. Catra is very much aware she's not on the right side of history, but plays the hand she was dealt and commits to the role anyways. Her reason for being so okay with this is simple, and exposes what will become a crucial plot point in the series. She firmly believes that sooner than later, she will be calling the shots. So it doesn't matter what the Horde forces her to do. It'll all be irrelevant by the time she's in charge. At least, that's what she's fooled herself into believing. Now, Hordak is the one currently in charge of the Horde. And on that note, let's talk a little bit about him, or what we know about him, which isn't much. By the end of the 13-episode season, we have little information on the Horde's leader, his motives, what makes him tick. It just ultimately boils down to destroy the princesses, conquer the world. Yeah, it's generic to say the least. There's always a chance we'll be expanded on and given a bigger focus in season 2, especially with how things left off for him and Catra. However, pondering on the direction his character will be taken, I quickly began to realize his role in the story isn't to be this elaborate, fleshed out antagonist whose motives we'll understand through and through. They're likely going to keep him a simple, mustache-twirling edgelord for a purpose. And looking into previous iterations for the character, the plans the older writers had for him, he was, or would have been utilized in a similar fashion. The main villain of She-Ra and the Princess of Power is Shadow Weaver. She's the antagonist with the most focus, screen time, and even character development throughout season 1. At first, I was immediately bored by her presence, but a revelation, rivalry with Catra, and meltdown later made her infinitely interesting than her initial debut. For the time being, she seems to be out of commission, but her story clearly isn't over. As the former maternal figure and mental abuser of Adora and Catra, neither of them have broken free of her grasp just yet. A climactic showdown as endgame just feels right. In the 1980s iteration of She-Ra, Shadow Weaver was plotting behind Hordak's back to overthrow him, although this never came to fruition. Similarly, Hordak was going to become the main antagonist in the 3rd season of the 2002 He-Man series, The Masters of the Universe. Unfortunately, the series was cancelled after season 2, but that also would have concluded with Hordak being overtaken by Skeletor. I'm confident showrunner Noelle Stevenson has looked into these past plans and iterations for Hordak and decided to give payoff to these 2 previous series, while giving her own unique spin on it. That's where Catra comes in, as she'll be the one to take Hordak out once and for all. We may be a while away from seeing this on our screens, but Catra will rise up and take control of the Horde, something prophesized as early in episode 2.
Because it doesn't matter what they do, and soon we'll be the ones calling the shots.
As of Season 1's conclusion, Catra is granted Shadow Weaver's former position of second in command, after taking up the mantle of Force Captain for a short time. This has brought her closer than ever to the throne. Despite no indication of her desire to remove Hordak from power at the moment, conflict between the two is inevitable. Opposing views and tactics on how to get things done, differing priorities, it's all going to get pretty ugly. Ironically enough, the duration of Season 1 saw Shadow Weaver obsessed with retrieving Adora, causing Catra to remark that even when Adora willingly leaves, Shadow Weaver still only cares about her. Yet, Catra soon has a self-proclaimed destiny to defeat She-Ra in order to realize her full potential and possess a true sense of accomplishment. While I'm sure she'll get a lot more done than Shadow Weaver did after Adora's departure, Catra's own obsession with Adora will become her undoing. Hordak will recognize this troubling similarity and intervene. I can already see him remarking how Catra's no different than her adopted mother, dividing the two further. This could all play out in a way that already serves as a pretty good example. Star Wars. Alright, The Last Jedi was definitely a mixed bag. Everyone reacted to it differently. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's definitely the most divisive Star Wars film. Yet, even before coming to this conclusion, the closer we got to the end of the season, I just couldn't help but be reminded of Snoke every single time Hordak was on screen. There was almost unanimous disappointment with how Snoke was handled, and ultimately bodied in The Last Jedi. It felt as if he had this build-up in The Force Awakens, only to almost immediately be disposed of. But let's go through the motions of that entire little arc. Kylo Ren and Rey have a connection. Kylo lures Rey to Supreme Lord Snoke's ship. Rey under the impression Kylo can still be redeemed. Kylo takes Rey to Snoke, who reveals he bonded the two's connection as a way to get to Luke Skywalker. Snoke commands Kylo to kill Rey, but Kylo turns the table and kills Snoke instead. Rey sees this as Kylo turning to the light, but instead, he dubs himself the new Supreme Leader. Kylo invites Rey to join his side, but Rey declines, and the two stay on opposing sides. Now, replace Rey with Adora, Kylo with Catra, and Snoke with Hordak, and tell me that doesn't make perfect sense. It's extremely likely we'll be in a situation where Hordak picks up on Adora's stubbornness to give up on Catra, orchestrating Adora to walk right into their clutches. As soon as Hordak thinks he's going to get rid of She-Ra once and for all by commanding Catra to eradicate Adora, Catra pulls the plug on Hordak instead. I'm not sure if she would kill Hordak, as this is a kid's show. He will be removed from power regardless, either imprisoned, or yeah, they'll actually go there, and Catra will kill Hordak. With the big bad out of the way, Adora thinks Catra will abandon the Horde, but instead, Catra will rise up as the Horde's new leader. Her bold statement in episode 2 of her and Adora calling the shots finally being realized, inviting Adora to join her. They can both get what they want, unison between princesses and the Horde, and resume their friendship. Or something more than a friendship, if you picking up what I'm putting down, wink wink, nudge nudge. Where are all the Cat-Dora shippers at? On a serious note, Catra would feel as if this is truly the best for both sides. With the two in charge and leading the Horde together, what could go wrong? She-Ra wouldn't have to be destroyed, the princesses can coexist, and the Horde can be driven into a new direction. Obviously, Adora will turn the offer down, stating that the Horde needs to disband entirely for true peace, and the two will remain on opposing sides, paving way for a heartbreaking, intense conflict, where the stakes are higher than ever before, on both a personal and universal level. This doesn't mean Catra would be the final villain, as we already know who that position is reserved for, although I would love to do an entire episode just on the topic of Shadow Weaver. So stay tuned for that. Again, like Naruto and Sasuke, Goku and Vegeta, Rey and Kylo, there's going to be quite a few clashes before Catra gets enough sense literally beaten into her. And I totally welcome more anime as showdowns. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. Will Catra overthrow Hordak? Is there more to Hordak than meets the eye? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet those thoughts to me at AwestruckVox or at Roundtable Vids. We're also on Instagram. If you want to help the Roundtable grow, you can either become a member of the channel or support us on Patreon. Get access to exclusive perks. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please order a like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications to stay in the loop with all things She-Ra. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. AwestruckVox, out. For the power of Grayskull!